Today I'm going to do the Berenstian Bears and the Easter Story, written by Jan and Mike Berenstian. A Living Lights faith story. It's Living Lights, which is a faith story. He has risen. Mark 16:6. The Berenstian Bears and the Easter Story by Jan and Mike Berenstian. Living Lights, a faith story. This field's sticker mode. It was springtime in Bear Country, and brother, sister, and Honey Bear were thinking about Easter. Actually, they were thinking about Easter candy. They loved Easter candy. There were so many different kinds. They were even thinking about on their way to Sunday school one fine spring morning. My favorite Easter candy is chocolate bunnies, said brother. My favorite is marshmallow chicks, said sister. Jelly beans! Jelly beans! Cried Honey Bear. Their Sunday school teacher, Mrs. Ursula, overheard them. I like the black jelly beans best, she smiled. But you know, there's much more to Easter than chocolate bunnies, marshmallow chicks, and jelly beans, black or otherwise. Sure, we know what, said brother. Sure, said sister. Sure, said Honey. Every time I record Honey's voice, it's like this. That's because she's only a little baby. Oh, said Mrs. Ursula. And why don't you tell the class all about Easter? Well, said brother, scratching his head. It's about stuff in the Bible. Yeah, agreed sister. Bible stuff. Stuff? Nodded Honey. Stuff, nodded Honey. Said Mrs. Ursula. Maybe it's time we learned a little more about this Bible stuff. It happens like Cubs in the next class. I'm about to put on a play called The Easter Story. Can you watch, Mrs. Ursula? The Cubs asked. That's what I was just about to suggest, she said. In the next classroom, everything was ready. Scenery was set up, and the performers were in the costume. One of them began to read the story out loud. Long ago in the Holy Land, there was a man named Jesus. He traveled in the countryside teaching about God and what God wanted for his people. Many listened to Jesus and followed him. It's just a play, silly. Jesus sometimes made people angry. Many people found his teaching strange, and some doubt that he was the Son of God. Others worried about why he was called king. They were afraid that Jesus would become too powerful. This is the sticker page. There it is. There's all the stickers. I at least have to use one of these. Jesus was from a small country town, but he traveled all the way to the holy city of Jerusalem. One day he rode into the holy city on a donkey. Crowds of people greeted him. They shouted, "Hosanna!" which means save us. The leaders of the city grew worried. Was Jesus becoming too powerful? One night, Jesus went to a garden to pray. While he prayed, soldiers were sent to arrest him. They took him away to prison. Jesus was brought before a judge. The judge asked Jesus many questions. He wanted to show everyone that Jesus was not a king, so he ordered Jesus to be put by death on a wooden cross. The day Jesus died was a terrible day. The skies grew dark and a great wind arose. All the people were afraid. After Jesus died, his friends took him away, put him in a tomb that was closed with a great stone. Jesus was in the tomb for 2 days. On the morning of the 3rd day after Jesus died, some women who knew Jesus came to weep at his tomb. They saw that the sun was rolled away and see Jesus was gone. But an angel told the women not to be afraid. He told them that Jesus was alive once more. Jesus came to visit his friends after he rose. They were amazed and fell down and worshipped him. Jesus told them they should spread the good news about what had happened. Finally, Jesus rose up to heaven to be with God, his Father. The play was over. Everyone was quiet. Easter is a lot more to candy, isn't it? asked Sister. Yes, indeed, said Mrs. Ursula. Are there any questions? Yes, said Brother Bear. Does this mean we shouldn't eat any Easter candy? Certainly not, laughed Mrs. Certainly not, laughed Mrs. Ursula. I wouldn't want miss my black jelly beans either. It just means that on Easter morning, after you get your Easter baskets, you'll all go to church to learn more about Easter. Hooray, the cub said. And Hosanna, added Mrs. Ursula. He is rising. Amen to that, said brother and sister. That's the end of the Berenstian Bears and the Easter story. That was by Jan and Mike Berenstian.